In this episode of Moi TV, I'm going to be helping you find your perfect headshots photographer. Here are all of the things you need to look out for, as well as a lightning round of questions to ask before you commit to any booking. Hey, it's Laura here, and this is Moi TV. For the very best in branded headshots, ideas and inspirations, you should definitely think about subscribing to my channel. When you hit the bell, you're going to be notified every single Friday when a new episode drops. If you haven't found your headshots photographer lobster yet, then there is a very good chance it's just because you haven't honed your selection skills. Maybe you just booked somebody because your biz bestie booked them as well. Maybe you just followed your budget last time. Or maybe you're yet to hire a professional because you just don't know who to book. It's okay, relax and breathe. Here is everything you're going to need to follow so that you can find your perfect headshots photographer. And by perfect, I mean the kind of photographer that you want to keep around for your entire career. You want them to document every moment in your business journey, right up until you're accepting that Lifetime Achievement Award from a hologram version of your business hero, which is being live streamed to the screen on the deck of your yacht, moored next to your private island in a galaxy far, far away. I've had my own headshots photography business now for 8 years. Over this time, I have become a lot more knowledgeable about the types of people I like to work with best. This has led to some beautiful long-term relationships with really loyal clients that have ended up becoming dear friends. Working relationships like this are gold dust. It just makes working more fun, and I want you to experience that same joy. We're going to start by looking at the things that you need to keep an eye out for when you're researching your next headshots photographer or personal branding photographer. Then after that, we're going to get into the lightning round of questions that I think you should be asking every photographer when you narrow down your selection. You want to try and get your selection down to 3 to 5 final photographers who you're then going to go and have a conversation with before you make any kind of booking. Overall, you want to make sure that you can visualize what you might look like in one of their photos, because you've got a good understanding of their style and the way that they've showed up before for previous clients. In order to get to this point, you're going to need to carry out some research online first. You're looking for a website that has at least one working gallery on it that makes you feel like you just like the work. It's just a gut instinctive feeling. Ask yourself, does this work that I'm looking at on this online gallery work with my style? Will it complement me and what I'm trying to achieve in my next business headshots? Is the work neat and tidy? Does it feel like there's been a little bit too much retouching done? Does it look too perfect and too overworked? Now, even the most untrained eyes can get a sense of this. You've all seen those bloopers that you have online where retouching has gone too far, so you want to be checking for that. Then you want to take a look at the rest of the website and find out if that headshots photographer is going to be traveling to a place where you're going or is near to you to actually shoot the work. As you're going through trying to narrow down to your 3 to 5 final headshots photographers, you want to make sure that if you've answered to any of the questions I just asked, you don't go any further. Look for another person and see if you can get them on your hot list. All of the things I just covered there are really good indicators of first level professionalism. If the person's website doesn't come up to those barometers, move on, find another contender. You want to find your photographer Marmite. By that, I mean the ones who you kind of really love and the ones you definitely are going to hate working with. Narrowing your search down then, you want to take another secondary look at your hot list. So you should have about 3, 4 or 5 people in this list. Go straight to Instagram. We're heading there because you want to take a look at their power of reputation. If you're scrolling through a headshots photographer's Instagram feed and there are no headshots on the feed, then I would say move on. I'm quite brutal about this stuff, but keep on scrolling, keep on looking, and if you can find one of the headshots examples that you've seen over on their website, you want to click on that picture and go and take a look at the comments and all of the engagement that happened after the photographer had posted that gram. Any decent photographer who knows just a little bit about Instagram will know that they should tag the client that they've got the picture of in their Instagram feed. You're going to be a little bit sneaky here and look to see who was tagged in that headshot. That kind of feels a little bit like how you want your pictures to look. Find out who they are, and then you're going to DM them on Instagram. Just get in touch in the way that you get in touch and ask them to give you some honest feedback about the photographer who has the picture of them on their feed. You can even be as open and honest and say you're shopping around and you're looking for somebody that's going to do a really good job for you. With very little to lose here, there's a very strong chance that that person is going to come back to you on the DMs and give you their honest opinion. If you feel that the response just doesn't feel genuine to you, or it's particularly surprising because it's really negative or overly positive, I want you to lather, rinse and repeat and do it again on another photo from the feed and see if you can find a different client and then judge what the first person said compared to the second. We're looking to get a couple of genuine verified referrals here. Now let's face it, if somebody hit you up on the DMs and asked you to give your honest feedback, would you reply? Really, what have you got to lose? You know, I talk to people about random things on the DMs, so I would just give my honest opinion. And I like to think that there is a really positive side of social media that brings out the best social part of us. So this is kind of fueling that philosophy, I suppose. Okay, so we've narrowed it down to 2 to 3 really good photographers that we have on our hot list. You're going to want to go and take a good look to see if you can find out what their pricing is before you get on a call with them. If you can't find this information on the photographer's website, you can ask them in advance to send over their latest prices or descriptions of their services in advance of the call. With this extra information, you have a lot there to really make sure that these 3 final calls go as you want them to. For instance, you may really like the description of service that Photographer A has described on their brochure, but Photographer B has a lot more options that are kind of in your budget range. Go into your calls with all of this preparation done first. If you find that Photographer C is way out of your league when it comes to the budget that you had in mind, you know that you can go into that conversation being upfront and honest with them, saying what your budget is, and then you can have a positive conversation about what Photographer C might be able to do for you on that price that you had in your mind. It might be that that ends the call prematurely, but it will put you in a much better position to go and have a conversation that's a little bit more in depth with Photographer A and Photographer B, saving everyone involved a lot of time. Okay, now it's time for your call. And in this hypothetical scenario, you managed to narrow things down to 2 potential photographers. At this stage, you're still looking to see if you're a good fit together. From like basic personality I'm talking about here. Do you gel, and are you going to be good at working together? When you approach your photographers, you want to ask them for a meeting or a video call so that you can get a better sense of this, but also so that you can kind of test them out a little bit. Make sure that they're able to Jenga on your existing ideas about the shoot. It's very rare that I have time to go out and meet a client in person, so I do a lot of my meetings on Zoom because it's just a lot more efficient. So it could be that you're going into a meeting, but it's a virtual meeting. You want to try and make it video so that you can pick up all of those extra senses that you get when you're sitting across the table from someone. At the end of your video meeting, you want to ask yourself 2 really simple questions. Do I like this person? And did I feel at ease with this person? This has a massive effect on the way that you gel with a photographer, and it can be the difference between fantastic photos that you absolutely love and use over and over and over again to a shoot that really damages your self-confidence. If you're feeling good when you're on that call, I want you to take it a step further, take control of the conversation and enter the lightning round of questions. But it's okay if you lose your bottle and you feel like the lightning round's going to be a little bit too confrontational at this stage. You can pick it up later on.
Dun dun dun. The lightning round.
Ask the photographer these final questions before you commit to making a booking. How many photo shoots have you done so far in your career? This is going to help you determine if the pricing that they've stated is on par with the skill level that they really have. Take a look at my business and suggest to me what you would do to make me look good in headshots with you. Go, do it now, do it now. This is going to test their creativity. Are they overflowing with ideas you like, or were they unable to pique your ideas appetite? Now, to be fair, not all photographers are going to be interested in performing like seals when you point and shout, do it now at them. Some people may ask you for just a little bit of time to go away and condense their thoughts and ideas and then present them back to you as part of this recruitment process that you're going through. It's fine to let them do that. That might be their creative process, but you want to plan to circle back next week to re-enter the second phase of the lightning round of questions. Do you work regularly with other suppliers? If so, who are they? If this hasn't come up yet in your initial chat before you entered into the lightning round, you want to make sure that the photographer can hook you up with some really good, reliable suppliers if you want to use them on your headshots photo shoot. This helps you to also understand how the photographer gets on with other professional suppliers. Are they happy to do all of the heavy lifting for you? Have they gone out and carved out these really good relationships to maybe offer you a reduced price, a supplier price? All of these things will give you a better sense of how professional your headshots photographer really is. Where did you study photography, and when did you graduate? Okay, so I am a real snob about this. I really believe that if you take the time to go and study a craft like photography, you're going to be a better professional photographer as a result of it. Can you prove to me that you are insured? If the answer to this question is not a confident, wholehearted, hell yes ma'am, then you need to walk away. Can I see the booking contract before I sign it? Again, if the answer to this question is not a wholehearted, hell yes ma'am, then you need to walk away. Will this work be commercially licensed so that I can use it in my business to make money? No professional photographer should ever say the words to you, sure, I'll give you all the copyright. Instead, you want to know that they have a proper legal system in place to grant you enough of a license so that you're going to be able to use these images for commercial gains, which basically just means to make some more money for you without breaching their initial copyright. If you enjoyed this episode of Mwah TV, I want you to go and give it a thumbs up. Why not tag your biz bestie who you know has headshots planned in the near future and is still looking for their Photographer Lobster. I'm also really curious this week to learn about your stories when you've been looking to find your Photographer Lobster. Have you found them? Is it a match made in heaven? Is it just dreamy? Or are you still on a quest to find them? Now, before you go anywhere, don't forget to subscribe. Mwah.